welcome back to Who's Up, where we get into some personal finance stuff, sports, current events, and health and wellness. Today we have Danny Ocean, Dr. J, and Justin, and myself, TJ. So I know a lot of people's been watching social media. The baby had posted a video about some kids trying to sell them candy. The kids was like, we'll say the whole box for 200, and the baby was like, how much are they a piece? And they was like $2. The kids was like, but we get 200 for the box all day. And he was like, how many in the box? And the kid was like, 32. He was like, how? And the kid was trying like, man, I get almost 400. Like numbers kept going up. So the baby ended up giving them buying one piece of candy from each kid. So $2 for them and $2 for the other dude. And the baby was like, don't try to hustle a hustler. Like, I was selling candy at their age too. You're like, even if you add it up, you're like, if I buy them individually, it's only 60 some bucks.
Yeah.
So just like a lot of people on social media were saying baby should have gave him the money anyway because he had it. Because the kids out here trying, he should have just donated the money. But I think baby taught a more important lesson. Don't bite the hand that can feed you. So don't try to hustle somebody when they can bless you. How y'all feel about that?
I have a mixed bag about it, right? Where again, something is only worth what you'll pay for it, right? So if somebody else would have came by and paid the kids $200 for the chocolate, then it's worth 200, right? He could have explained to him like, hey, $2 a piece, you got 30 pieces of candy. Like, you should probably try to maybe get, $60, 60 something dollars for it, right? And I think that it could be a lesson on both ends to say, hey, like, don't try to like y'all said, don't try to bite the hands that feed you, but also like, explain to them in further details rather than kind of try to like shoot them down and maybe embarrass them. So it's just, I don't really like the approach that he took, and to kind of put the kids out there like that. But I think everything, like every good deed you do doesn't have to be shown on camera, and you don't have to embarrass every person out off of camera. You know what I mean? Like, and so everything is for show these days. And so what is the baby walk pulling out a wad of cash for? Like, what are you trying to show them? That, hey, if I rap and I do this and that that I could be rich. So everything can be a life lesson. I personally wouldn't have done it that way. I would have said, oh, dang, that's a lot. Now I'm like, yo, cut the camera off. Like, hey, kids, blah, 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 blah. You see what I mean? So I didn't personally like it.
I like what he did, especially if they was trying to lie. If they was trying to lie and finesse, they need to learn not to be lying and finessing. Or they don't know their math that good. Maybe we need to make sure that people around the world know that math ain't good, because I ain't like that. It's supposed to be what, $2 a piece? It was 30 pieces, it would be $60. You would try to finesse it for 200? Come on now. Drug dealers don't do nothing like that. You talking about some candy? Come on now. Not like that. I mean, if we talking about real bulk order buying, like in grocery stores or something like that, you usually get somebody a discount for buying in bulk, not overcharge for buying in bulk, not what that was like, double the price, triple the price. I mean, that's inflation, man. Wait, he learned from MAGA, ain't he, or something like that? That's that Wells Fargo math right there. Dang, worse than the student loan people. You gotta give me a break. I don't know. I might have got in trouble trying to sell candy like that, but that's different days and times, I guess.
You can get in trouble because on the box it says not for individual sales, so they shouldn't be out there selling candy to start off with like that. But I mean, you can't knock somebody's hustle. People sell waters individually. People sell candy all the time. I mean, it's for the kids. I mean, if you want to get legal about it, they probably have no permit. So like, yes, you probably could get in some type of legal trouble. But at the same time, I feel the baby should have, instead of like, man, don't try to hustle me, but like, hey, next time, trying to give them some aspects of marketing, like, next time you give them a discount, don't try to play me like my math ain't that good. Like, it's not like you talking about thousands and $10,000 and $100,000, worth of products. You're like, getting those type of numbers, your math not good, but man, 30, like, people can add a little bit, like at least the average person can. So I thought it was, I feel he did right, but at the same time, the embarrassment part could have been handled better. Because like I said, you shouldn't be embarrassing people, especially when your outreach is that large, like on his social media following. You know, try to uplift the kids and teach them the right way. But I think I would like, at the same time, I wouldn't have given him $200 because it's just like, man, you try to charge me $200 for something that costs $60? Get out of here with that.
Yeah, you say no, bro. You say no. You know what I mean? Like, go ahead, Danny O'Shank. I ain't gonna skip over
No,
you.
I agree with you. Like I wouldn't have given him $200, but yeah, like you don't have to record everything. You don't have to record yourself embarrassing 2 8-year-old boys trying to make a little bit of money, right?
Like that's their punishment. It take the village out here scamming and lying. Like you want to cartoon shows.
It's one thing to embarrass someone in the village, but this is the world, right? Like he put it, like it's on social media, like thousands and thousands of people know. I mean, like, come on, dog. Like, that's excessive.
Modern times require modern solutions, man. You can't just put these kids in
like
time
a dude jump out of a van with a wad of money. Like, go back to drug dealing, right? You selling weed, men drive up in a Maserati. You gonna charge them the same price you charge dude in a Honda?
Correct.
I would.
Dude jump out the van with a wad of money. Oh yeah, it's $2. No, man, I'm on. See if I can get a little bit of extra. It happens all the time.
Man, but also, careful with that upcharging.
But
when they try to do that, that's price gouging.
Yeah, but I'm saying, but when they kids, bro, and somebody get out with a lot of money, they think $100 is a whole lot of money, right?
Right.
So that's probably what their mindset was. They probably were not doing the math and saying, "Oh yeah, blah blah." They probably just like, "Oh, 200." You know what I mean?
The kid said, "Oh, you the baby." Like he recognized it. Like there was a lesson to be taught, but it could have been taught in a better way.
Yeah, that's what I was saying. Yeah, off the camera. Again,
like you said, just not everything needs to be recorded. Like if you're gonna be generous on camera, then be generous on camera. Don't go to be generous and then turn into a dick on camera to a bunch of kids. Like, that's not a good look.
Yeah, that's like
you're not their daddy. Like he out here talking to them like he's like, oh, you don't know them kids.
Yeah, that's like when you go to give a homeless man some money and you pull out a wad of cash and you flip all the way back to the ones. Come on, bro. Like you ain't gotta flex on me like that. Like that's kind of how I felt like he did with them little kids. You know, little kids, they probably don't. If you told them how many 20s are in $200, they wouldn't be able to tell you 10.
No, I need y'all to know that 30 times 2 is 60, not 200. That's all I'm saying.
We're talking about 8. I mean, yeah, you're right, right? Like as someone who struggles with math, I understand where they're coming from. 8 and 10-year-olds being able to do that kind of money, that math off the top of your head. They saw a wad of cash. They decided to go for more. They were wrong, and there was a better way to display that message instead of clowning them. Well, fine, and just give me a piece from each of y'all. Y'all get $4. Have a blessed day. Like, come on, man. Like, dog, you're 28, almost 30 years old, talking to a bunch of 8-year-olds like that.
Could have been me. I wouldn't have bought none of the candy no way, but
yeah,
that's a different story.
Anyway, Dr. J, I know you sent us a video during our little group chat about goals. Can you explain the video a little bit and how?
Yeah. So this was something I came across on social media. Is an interesting take though. You know, people always setting goals to kind of get somewhere, but they were saying that goals could be bad for you. I guess it's one thing if you set the goal and you hit it compared to when you set the goal and you don't hit it. So they gave an example. They were saying basically you could kind of try to change your thought process more than being focused on the goal, I guess. So they were saying in this example, you're trying to lose 30 pounds before a wedding. When you do that, you identifying with someone that's overweight. Instead, you should identify with someone who rarely skips a workout or skips eating healthy. That way, by default, you'll get to that checkpoint you get into. Let me give you a second example. They were saying that, I guess they were saying setting a number goal is easy to fail, right? So say you set that goal for 30 pounds, but then you only get to 28. It's going to feel like a failure. Whereas if you set yourself up to being someone who rarely skips a workout, that leaves some room for mistakes. And then you can skip a workout and still be true to who you are. They give another example about reading a book. We'll do this one, then I'm going to ask y'all some questions about it. They were saying for the goal, you would take 1 month to read the book. And then that was saying that you identify someone who doesn't read that much. They were saying instead, try to identify someone who reads every day. And then eventually you'll get that book completed. So they were saying, you know, you have a hectic month, you might not hit that goal, and then you might feel stressed and all that, and then that negative cycle can kind of get kickstarted. Whereas they were saying if you think about someone who try to read every day. You give a little more margin for error, and then you'll get there. So I guess open up to you guys. Do you think you should put more focus on the goal itself, or more focus on the journey, and then you'll reach your goal?
I know I believe in goals. I mean, to me, it's like you can't be successful at everything. You're not going to reach every goal you set. To me, in like, if you consider yourself a failure for trying, then that's on you. I mean, I think that's what your mental capacity can deal with. I mean, that's on you. You learn to deal with that stress. To me, you have to do better. You know, to me, grow up. It's like you're not going to be successful at everything you do. It's not Little League. Everybody don't get a trophy in life.
What you think, Justin?
Oh no, I agree. I think that again, I the three things that you gave to me in my mind, because I'm a little feels like a cop out. Like if you said you was gonna lose 30 pounds and you didn't lose 30 pounds, then maybe it wasn't in that time frame that you did, but continue to go and hit it. Don't allow yourself to say, oh, well, it was only 28 and I said I was gonna do it in 3 months, so I didn't. Well, I guess I stopped now. You know what I mean? I just feel like we are just in such a society where we just heap praise and hand out participation trophies. You know what I mean? And I just feel like you have to. If this was the goal you set and you weren't able to meet it by that timeline, set a new goal and complete it. You know what I mean? Like, don't say, oh, I failed, I'm a failure, blah, blah, blah. Like, complete the goal. And I feel like, again, but I feel like with goal setting, you have to start off with small, attainable. This week, I want to lose 2 pounds. I want to change. Instead of eating McDonald's for breakfast, I want to cook breakfast at home, right? So that's one little goal. I just feel like sometimes, I know me personally, I struggle with, I have 20 goals that I'm trying to hit, right? And I only hit 5 of them. And I'm like, dang, well, I guess I got to extend it because I got to hit them other 15 instead of out of 20 goals, drill down to 5. And then once you drill down to 5, drill down to 3, 2, and 1 and figure out, these are the 3 goals that if I hit, I'm going to feel accomplished. And then it's going to kind of give me that rocket power to hit those other 2 goals. So now I'm at 5. And then once I hit those other 2, you know, kind of continue part of that process. But I just feel like we're in a society today where we are just so easily distracted and we're so easily to quit because there's always another thing to do or another best option. So I feel like everybody should set goals, should have a list of goals that they want, maybe put 10, if it's not 10, 5, and then drill down to the 3 that you feel like are going to help you accomplish the things you want to, so it doesn't make you feel like a failure kind of thing.
What you got on your mind, Daniel?
I'm closer to Justin, but it's for me, it's like it's more of the behavior, right? So if you set a goal to lose 30 pounds, and this is what happens, a lot of people, they crash diet to do these crazy things to lose that 30 pounds. Yeah, I reached my goal, but I don't have the behaviors to sustain it, right? So then you go back to eat McDonald's, and now you're 30 pounds heavier again. So I agree with Justin more so the post. It's more so about the behavior than if you set the foundation, you can build a house. So if I know how to eat right and exercise and drink my water, that 30 pounds is going to come regardless. So if you would, I mean, it's kind of a mixture of the two, but it's more so the behavior. Because if you just have goals, like say, oh man, I want $10,000. Well, you can go sell drugs for, a month and make your money, but is that the best way to make $10,000? Like probably not, because now you're in a world of trouble. So it's more so of, spending habits, creating a budget, saving your money, and the habits more so. The habits will lead to the goals that you set. So again, like the 30 pounds, anyone can go to Walmart, buy those, fat supplements, those fat burners that'll kill you in 15 years to reach the goal. But if they don't know how to eat right or to pick vegetables or this, that, and the third, then it was all for nothing. Like you reached the goal. Yeah, congratulations. But now you don't have the behaviors to sustain it or keep it up.
So I'm glad you mentioned it that way, because that was the last part of the post. They were saying you really should try to reverse engineer it. You should strive to be the person that sticks to the plan and then set some goals that you can reach that are realistic. And then you can see if you're making progress to being that person. They were saying, like, if your goal was to have 100,000 followers on Instagram, don't get so hung up on 100K. They were saying, do the habits and the things that a person that would have 100,000 followers would do, and you'll get there. So it seems if you use the goal as a means to check your progress and to measure what's going on, not for that goal to be the end all be all and be the false idol. That's something we see a lot of times in healthcare. They people say they want to get their blood pressure down, or they want to get their weight down on the scale, or say if it was football, you want to get your 40 time to be fast, right? Well, to do what? To enjoy life or to be a better football player. Don't just get so hung up on the number. Then when you don't hit the number, you feel like a failure. Right? Well, you might be 2 pounds short of the goal, but did you enjoy this wedding that we was talking about? Did your clothes look good on you? So, like you said, I think if we get a good balance point of both, then we can really get somewhere, man. So, maybe it's. So, what you gonna say, Justin?
I was gonna say, to kind of add on to Dr. J, to your last statement, I feel like it needs to be like a 7 why. Why do I want to lose 30 pounds? So I can fit into my suit. Why do I want to fit into my suit? So I can feel better about myself. Why do I want to feel better about myself? So when my interactions with people are positive, why do you know what I mean? So by the time that you drill that you ask yourself that question, why 7 times, you're going to say, so I can be happy. You know what I mean? So you equate the 30 pounds to, you drilled all the way down to asking yourself why 7 times. You realize at the end of the day it's less about fitting in the clothes for the wedding, and it's more about being happy.
Like, you get to the real root of what you're trying to do.
Yeah,
that's it. And that'll really help you stick to it, because then you understand your why. You understand your why, then you can figure out the how and the who and the when and all that type of stuff.
Exactly.
That's it, man.
I also want to add right quick, what you said about the whole failure thing, by not accomplishing your goal, not necessarily getting to your goal, like the journey that process takes you, but if you don't get to it, you feel like a failure. I know I feel like sometimes you need to fail to be better. Like you learn more through losing than you do through winning. So I think in our society today, everybody's about winning and instant gratification or instant success. So I think those things, and like I think it just stems from like you say, the whole participation trophy thing. Like you play rec sports, everybody get a trophy no matter who win or lose. Didn't win a game all season, but yet everybody got a trophy. I think that mentality is hurting this generation coming up in the long run with the whole failure. And now they're stressed and depressed, and you got a whole lot of problems because they didn't get their so-called goal. They worked really hard for it. Do
you think that's always been the case, or this has always been here and people just never talked about it? Like, I hear people talk about participation trophies. Like, who cares if 8-year-old gets a participation trophy at the end of a basketball season? Like, that doesn't mean anything. Like, people have been depressed since the beginning of time. It's just now people are talking about it.
I think sorry, Dr. J, I don't want to totally disagree with you, but I want to say that again, the habits that we learned at a young age follow us going up. So again, it may look like to you just a participation trophy at 8 years old. To me, again, my wife is like, oh, sportsmanship. But again, I want my son to feel like, hey, son, like we lost. Like we're not just giving you a, hey, good job. Am I going to be proud of him for participating and for playing? Yeah, but I want him to know that winning is a part of life as well as losing. So I don't want to skip over, I don't want to dwell so hard on the fact that he lost, but I also want him to feel that, you know what I mean? Like, so okay, next year when it come time, like I don't want the participation trophy. I want to win, and I'm going to be just as proud of him if he wins or if he loses. But I'm just saying, I don't think you need to be rewarded for losing. You know what I'm saying?
But that only applies to sports, though. Not every kid plays sports. Like in school, like if a kid does bad, he's going to get bad grades. Like you're not getting a participation trophy in school where it counts. This applies just to sports. How many kids really play sports growing up? Yeah, like if you join chess club as a kid, you're gonna lose. You a kid and you in the spelling bee and you misspell the word, you're gonna lose. Like it's just related to sports. Like participation trophies are just like a small percentage that's been blown way out of proportion. But like I got participation trophies. I ain't out here trying to lose anything.
I know, but I'm not talking about our generation. People born in the early 90s and 80s is a little different than these people born in 2000.
I mean, like I have a little cousin who plays AAU basketball. They're like 28-0. Like they lose and he's 8. Like there are losers in these teams. Like I don't like this participation trophy is just kind of a coverall for bad parenting. Well, not bad parenting, but it's not the deal that we make it.
That's true. It does start in the home. I do agree with you.
Like sports is the only arena where you get a trophy because everywhere else in life there are winners and losers.
Yeah,
like
but
not
again,
everyone can be valedictorian. Not everyone can graduate with honors.
Well,
But I
they
think
trying to
sports is-
expand that list out now. They have multiple valedictorians and all this kind of stuff. I seen that now.
yeah.
Like,
Sorry, Dr. J. But I think sports is just the thing that we're grasping onto right now. But I think it applies in everything. Like again, when you're in class, you want to be top whatever in your class. That's whether it's a sport, it's a level of competition, right? When you're at your job, you want to be the best. You want to be the best person on your job, right? So if your boss kept saying, "Hey, it's okay, Matt. We're just gonna continue to give you the standard raise, but your partner TJ will continue to get the 7 to 8% raise per year because he's I don't want to say an overachiever, but he's exceeding expectations, right? And so to me, I look at it like participation is just saying like, hey, you came here, you did what you had to do, and then you clocked out and you went home, right? Like I'm not saying you lost, but I'm saying you did just enough to be here to get your check, right? And that's never going to allow you to move up in the job rank. Does everybody want to move up? There are some people who want to go do their job, go home and leave, right? And there is absolutely nothing wrong with that. There is nothing wrong with that. But I'm saying I think the participation trophy in itself, like the premise behind it is you're giving people awards for doing the bare minimum or for just showing up.
But where does that happen outside of sports? Like if I go to work and I'm just mediocre, I'm not going to get a raise. Like at school, if my kid goes to school and just gets C's, like he's not going to, like there are clear winners and losers. There are clear measurements of this. Like a participation trophy, again, like I just feel like it's just a catch-all or just something that's blown way out of it, like you said. So if me and TJ work at the same place, he's exceeding, he's getting a raise, he's the clear winner.
Yeah.
Like I need to step my game up to match TJ's. Like that's the bar. Like there is no, like we're not getting the same raise and he's working harder than me. It doesn't work like that. It doesn't work like that in school. It doesn't work like that in the real world. So we're talking about a youth soccer league or, some 8-year-olds, hey, thanks for participating this year. Go have a great summer. Like, is it doing that much of a damage on them?
Yeah, no, again, I think that I forgot whether it was you or TJ said it starts at the home. Again, right. That's why I'm saying, like, again, if my son gets participation trophy, I'm not going to break it up, slam it in his face like, you will not get that. You will not bring that in the house. But I'm going to delve further into that. Like, hey, son, like, this ain't something that we want to get next year. If you get it next year, okay, we're going to bring it home. We're going to leave it in the garage. I mean, we're going to put it on the shelf. But again, it just I equate participation as thank you for coming and just allowing to continue to leave that bar at mediocre. That's just in my head how I acknowledge. There's nothing wrong. Like there's nothing wrong with the kid receiving it. I'm just saying that I don't want it to build a mentality of being okay. Status quo is good, or okay, like. You just came and you showed up at work. Okay. Like, okay, you know what I'm saying? Like that, like you said, I've blown it out of proportion in my head because I'm like, hey, I feel like it just leads to, kind of a path of status quo.
So you're saying you're trying to avoid a level of mediocrity?
Yeah, right? No, rewarding mediocrity.
Rewarding mediocrity.
Yes.
Okay.
Because I think they went, overboard. Like everything was trying to get away from anti-bullying and people being in low self-esteem mode, that it lowered the standard and we lost the value of negative reinforcement. You know what I mean? Like if you lose, that should be motivation to do better, not shrink in the moment and go the opposite way. You know what I'm saying? And like that participation trophy, that's thanks for coming. Like you said, that's break even, just the bare minimum. Hey, keep your esteem from being at the bottom, but yeah, man, you gotta have
especially at that age, like you don't want to ruin a kid's confidence. Like that's why you give them a participation trophy, right? Like that's right, because it's not a competitive league,
right?
Unless you do AAU, then they're real losers,
right? Or but then you got to get them to understand that it's negative reinforcement. It's not abuse. Like you gotta, if you can frame it up better, like you were saying with the baby, then it can be used in a good way.
Yeah,
so, yeah, man. We got some good stuff though. That was some good stuff today.
Yep, great conversation. So once again, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. More content. Follow us on Instagram at who'sup_podcast. If you have any suggestions, anything you want us to look at, talk about, email us at 1-800-who'sup@gmail.com. Thank you.